So let's talk about AI music, shall we? Hi, my name is Viddy Dangerous. This is 1430. If you like this video, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I've been on a kind of a roll lately. I've been dropping videos like every couple of weeks or so, which doesn't sound like a lot, but my usual output was just kind of whenever I was feeling inspired. But I've been getting into a consistent groove and I'm trying to, pick up the pace a little bit. So if you like this video, you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to this channel and stay tuned because there'll be more on the way. Now let's get into this video. And I'm gonna go ahead and start off by saying, just to make it 100% clear, I am 1000% against AI generated music, AI generated art like graphic designs, video, paintings, whatever, characters like for animation. I am 1000% against all of that. Do I think AI could be a helpful tool in certain aspects? Yeah. Like, for example, I don't really like video editing, to be honest. It's just kind of a necessary evil for me. I'm trying to get better, at it, and I will outsource it once I can find somebody that I can trust with my process. But until then, it's on my shoulders. And if I could find like an AI tool that could edit my video in a way that I would like, I might use it every once in a while. But for the most part, not really feeling that. And in those like little remedial tasks, because like I have to edit a video a certain way for YouTube, for example, for it to perform well on this platform. So maybe I can get some help just to make sure I hit this standard. But there's some people that enjoy video editing and they put their own creative flair in their videos. And a part of that process is the editing. And I feel like they should also have that choice to do that as well. But to completely take a human being out of the creative process is what I'm against. Even though I would use an AI tool to edit this video, it is still my opinion as a human being. I am talking to a camera right now with my original thoughts as a human based on my human experience. I do not like the idea of it just being start to finish, from inception to completion, the creative process being done by AI. I do not respect that. I do not see the benefit of that. And anytime somebody has tried to do an argument for AI generated art, whatever, it always just sounds like this is just a corporation's way of having the benefit of a creative, like whether it's music for their advertisements or graphic designs for their posters for their new television series, or even videos or animation, so they don't have to pay animators. It just sounds like their way of being able to have the benefit of that without actually having to pay and respect the people that make these creative visions possible. Like a record label wants AI generated artists so they don't have to pay royalties. They can have an AI generated character to where they don't have to respect and treat an artist like a real artist, like a human being. And that is my issue with AI. Like, it's already been established by the lawsuit from a couple years ago now that Suno, a company that does AI generated music, is using copyrighted material to generate their prompts. So when you type in a funk record, or you want something that sounds like Prince or Timbaland, you're typing in a prompt and it's going to spit out something that was trained on their original music. So not only do they want to completely cut out creatives from the process, but they also want to steal from those same creatives to train their machines, so then they can eventually usher in a new era of AI generated artists in quotation marks, while pushing out real human art from the process. And I bring up Suno because Suno is who is partnered with Timbaland. Timbaland is the legendary producer from the 90s, created classic records with Aaliyah, Missy Elliott, Jay-Z, like so many for decades. Like he's 30 years in the game. And the guy has a legend and a staple in the producer world. A lot of people, when you think of guys that like look at wow, taking music or taking music production, especially in hip hop and R&B, to like just a left field, creative, completely out of the box place that we just haven't seen before. People look at people like Timbaland or Pharrell, like those are the guys that became the standard when you thought about that, like just creating without like barriers in hip hop and R&B. You think about Timbaland, so he is a highly respected, highly influential figure in the world of music, and they partnered with him to basically make him the face of their AI venture. He's the creative director over there at Suno. And a couple weeks ago in the news, he decided to announce that with his new company, Stage Zero, he's going to put out a AI generated artist named Tata, who is supposed to be an A-pop artist, an artificial pop artist. And a lot of people had problems with that. And Timbaland's reaction to that has made the situation go from worse to basically in hell. And the one thing I don't like about this situation with Timbaland, right, is not just the fact that he is using his influence and cultural cachet to try to usher in this new AI generated artist when he could be working with real artists, by the way. But it's his response to that. Like, one of the things that always irks me when these celebrities or these powerful people in the world of entertainment, they try to trot something out, it gets a lot of negative backlash, whether it's an album or this AI generated like artist thing that he's trying to do. And instead of really engaging with the genuine concerns that people have with Timbaland being the face of this whole AI generated movement, instead of like really listening and engaging with that conversation, he gets defensive. Like, a guy who feels like he is not doing anything wrong wouldn't be in every TikTok comment section of big and small creators when they're speaking on this and speaking negatively about this to try to defend himself. And really, most of the time, it's just that I'm Timbaland. That's his whole argument, is that I'm Timbaland. Basically, you gotta respect me because I'm a legend. I'm an icon in this. Like, I should just be able to do whatever I want. And then he decided to put out this AI generated clapback video where he decided to basically make fun of a lot of the artists that came to his live stream.
But your songs barely mix. Why would we train it on that?
You worried about AI stealing your sound? Bro, you ain't got one.
One of the accusations that Timbaland got when this was announced was that he was using people's music from his live streams to train the AI for this new AI venture, right? Because he's trying to do it with a pop artist. Now, he's worked with pop artists before, but it's been a while. It's been a while. So unless he's about to make music that sounds like Nelly Furtado from like 20 years ago, or even Justin Timberlake from before that, there's a little bit of suspicion that, like, where is this music coming from? Like, that you're training your AI to create the music that is going to be for this AI generated artist. And a lot of people were accusing him of taking music from people who submitted to his live stream. He also had this producer community called Beat Club that went defunct, and it had its own like mess of controversies. Like, he was being accused of using their music, the people who submitted to his his various ventures, and using that to train his AI for this music. And honestly, personally, I think he did. I'm gonna get into why in a second. But his response to that was basically to put out this AI generated video of these various characters speaking while he has Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake playing in the background, and basically shit all over the independent artists that even accused him of that. Basically saying, y'all music sucked, so why would I train my AI on y'all music? It's barely mixed. AI writes better hooks than you. You ain't got no bars. You ain't got no sound. It just feels not only like super disrespectful, but it kind of makes anybody that like submitted their music to you, feel like it was just like a waste of time. Like any compliment that you might have given to people, and apparently I never submitted my music to his live stream, but a lot of people would say like, yeah, he just would really shit on everybody, or he would be barely listening, or if he did have any critiques and any praise, it was very generic. Might have been AI generated themselves. Like, so it wasn't like if you were getting much out of it anyway. But then it just kind of feels like, man, that's how he really felt about everybody that submitted their music. And then they paid money to submit their music. So you're giving music to a guy to not only just basically like shit all over it, but allegedly using it to train his AI for his own, venture, for trying to usher in this AI generated artist. And I felt like it was very disgusting. And then other people like Young Guru and other industry figures tried to reason with Timbaland on the live stream, and honestly, it didn't go well.
What we're trying to do is make sure that the human emotion is still in it, to make sure that we still get to represent who we are from learning and being older.
I didn't watch the whole live stream. It was like 4 hours, but I watched a lot of the highlights from, other people's pages, and like shout out to the Indie Mama on Instagram. Like I think she was a very powerful voice on there, trying to basically like explain like, hey, this is why people are concerned about this.
And I don't want to be here saying I already made my millions of dollars, so everybody else can figure it out. Go prompt. Go be an excellent prompter. Music still needs to live on, and it's people like you and me that need to say, we've got to figure out a fair way to do this. That is all I'm saying.
But it just felt like it was going in one and not the other. And during those live streams, it felt like he had a real lack of understanding on what this AI is. Like he doesn't understand how it was trained. He is making all of these weird comparisons about like, it's just like auto-tune. It's just like when, sampling replaced live instruments, or we went from the MPC to FL Studio. And I hate those comparisons. One, like the difference between AI and, giving somebody FL Studio or Ableton, or giving somebody an MPC or a synthesizer versus having live instruments, right? Like I hate those arguments because one, live instrument players are still in demand. Like, have you ever noticed if somebody has a big enough budget, if you've been to a concert like a Beyonce or Kendrick Lamar, or like just think about the biggest artists from all genres, they are still using live bands when they go on tour. There are a lot of albums that, regardless of having access to virtual instruments and MPCs, like there are still a lot of artists that have, like if they can get the budget, that have live instrumentation in their music production, and maybe a combination of the two. Like live instruments have not completely gone. They're actually like in a higher demand because there's a certain level of authenticity that people are looking for, that regardless of how far digital audio workstations have come, they cannot replicate a live instrument. Like I am a music producer, and yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still getting better at my skills, but I feel like I've gotten pretty good. But like one thing you learn really quickly is that no matter how advanced and how much money you pay for a piano library or a trumpet library or something like that, a guitar, you're not going to be able to replicate that on a computer. That if you had somebody that knew what they were doing playing it live for you, you're not going to be able to replicate that. And because of that, these things are still in demand. But also, regardless of whether it's a real instrument, a sampler, a digital audio workstation, you still have to be good. I could give you a copy of FL Studio tomorrow. You're not going to be Metro Boomin overnight. You're not going to be able to become Jay Dilla in like 5 seconds if you get an MPC. You're not going to be able to do that. Like you still have to put in time and effort. It's just a different instrument, and you're going to have to learn the skills. You're still going to have to learn like music theory. You're still going to have to learn how chords work. You're still going to have to learn how to make a song from start to finish. You may even have to learn how to mix a song, and that's a whole nother skill in it of itself. And that's where the passion comes in. If you do not like making music and you just want to type in a prompt, that does not make you a musician.
It's not really enjoyable to make music now.
Why do you say that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software. I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music.
Do you not think that's like running? It is hard to run. It is painful to run. You don't particularly enjoy it, but you love running. And you get good at it, and you get better at it, and you speak to the runners, and they love running.
Like, there's no skill. What skill is being learned by typing in a prompt to a computer? Like where's the passion and love that comes from creating music comes from the time and energy and the disappointments and, you know, creating terrible music to learn what you did wrong to then turn around and make something great later down the line. Like the years and the blood and the sweat and the tears that go into learning something and perfecting something that you're passionate about. That's where the love comes from. That's the part, that's the intangible part of making music that you're not going to be able to replicate with AI. And that is never going to change. Like, there's a lot of fear around AI music and in the future of music. And I can genuinely say, at first I was scared. I was scared just because it just kind of felt like, especially with me at the time, like I was just getting back into music producing myself and just trying to find myself and trying to learn and build up my skill every day. And then this AI stuff just kind of pops up out of nowhere. And it just kind of felt like the death of music. Like I might as well just sell all this stuff and just call it a day, because this stuff is getting better and better and better in the blink of an eye, and I'm trying to, you know, hone my skills. But to be honest, AI is not going to be able to replicate the human experience. And to be honest, you know, we complain about it all the time, but it's like one of the things that I feel like is kind of a sign that, like, nah, AI is not going to be able to replace an artist at the top of the charts. Because to be honest, music nowadays, especially, but I mean, it's always been the case, but especially nowadays, it's more about if people can connect to you personally than how good the music is. There are some of the most incredible artists that we could think of that makes music 10 times better than the average person that's played on the radio, but they're not getting as much of attention, not just because they may not have the budget or the machine behind them, but also because they're getting beat out by somebody with a fourth of their talent, but has a personality that is attracting people to them. There are some people that are famous to the, like, out here that don't really put out music like that. Like Cardi B is an example. There's some people that now that may be a fan of her that don't even know that she make music or made music at one point. So that to me is just a sign that, like, it's bigger than just how great the music is. It's also, can people connect to you? And I don't think you can replicate that. Like I know, actually not even that, I know you can't replicate that with AI. But end of the day, I'm totally against it because it is still theft. And a big example of that, because bringing it back to when people were accusing Timbaland of using the music that was submitted to his live streams as a way to train his AI. Well, he got called out by producer K Fresh. K Fresh is dope. I hope that I'm saying it right, because I think, now that I'm thinking about it, that might be something different. I hope that's K Fresh. I will edit it down here in this text that if that is not his name, I will put the actual name of this producer at the bottom here. But dope producer, like I see him all the time on Threads, just kind of like giving like saged wisdom to other producers to basically not focus on the BS, basically. And I really appreciate that. Well, he was the subject of the new conversation that was coming around about this. Like I said, I thought this was dying down, but it keeps coming back up. It keeps coming back up. I didn't even know if I wanted to do a video on this. I say this on every video, but I didn't know if I was going to do this because I thought I might have missed the boat. But then conversation just keeps coming back up. And in this video, basically, it was determined that K Fresh beat was stolen from Timbaland, and it was, or from Suno. I don't know if it was Timbaland or Suno, but It's Timbaland in the video bobbing his head, basically saying that the AI spit this out, and it's almost a one-to-one comparison. The same beat that K Fresh put out like on his social media platforms. It even has the beat tag still in it. Like Suno has been accused of doing that in the past, where the beat will still have a tag or a phrase or something that is distinctively somebody else, an original artist's thing. So it's proof that the only way that they could have been able to do that is if it was trained on somebody else's music. And that's why I do not respect AI. I would never get behind this. And to be honest, the sad part is Timbaland at this point cannot be trusted in the music space. Like, he will probably either double down or eventually catch the hint and try to back off this whole AI venture, maybe even issue an apology. But it's been some years now. He has expressed his love for AI. At one point, he said that AI was the only thing that still had soul, which is such a crazy thing to say. And he may eventually come around and apologize, even after so many people and so many artists, so many respected figures have tried to come to him and go, hey man, this ain't cool, this ain't right, like we can't be co-signing this. He may eventually come around, but he cannot be trusted. He cannot be trusted in the music space. But the sad part to me is, this is just my theory, I don't even think Timbaland realizes that he is just a pawn in this whole situation. Like, I remember a few years ago, a record label tried to put out an AI avatar. I think it was called Effin' Mecca. And Effin' Mecca was basically a Tekashi 6ix9ine AI clone, right? Like, he made shitty Tekashi 6ix9ine-esque music, which was already, like, Tekashi 6ix9ine music was already shitty. So to try to make a replica of that even worse is just crazy to me. But to promote it, they would do stuff like have him with the chain. He's got green dreadlocks and a grill. They would even have him generated in scenarios like he was getting arrested. And people obviously saw it for what it is. It was a very out of touch, tone deaf, idiotic way to appeal to hip hop, to black folks, to try to get accepted, because that's all they see us as. Like, yeah, artists that get arrested, we understand them because there's a certain human experience that goes into what they go through. The life that they lived, that, the habits and stuff that they picked up along their journey. And we can understand that, sympathize that, and also the systemic aspects of that, when it comes to black youth, always in trouble with the law, and now they got some money. Like, there's a lot of things that go into that. But I can't relate to that with an AI generated avatar because it didn't happen. He's not a real person. Like, he doesn't exist. So we can't have trouble with the law. He can't have those systemic issues affect him because he's not real. The system doesn't affect people that do not exist. And so people saw through it, and it fell apart, and they pulled the plug on it. So that's what these corporations do. They put it out there, test the waters, get the backlash that is expected. They pull it back, and then when they try to come back next time, they use someone to be the face of the rollout of this AI generated mess. Then they have to use somebody that is respected. They have to use somebody that has the cultural cachet to where if they co-signed it and said it was cool, it might work. It might go over a little bit better. And who better to do that than somebody as beloved and respected, as influential as Timbaland? And knowing that he, based on how he was responding to a lot of what Young Guru and others were saying on the live stream, doesn't really seem like he understands how this whole process works. And I don't think they want him to understand. I think they want him to feel like This is something new and innovative, and it's not stealing from anybody. And that Timbaland can be Timbaland again by being the front runner of this. But in all actuality, he is just a pawn in these corporations' game. He is leading the way to the demise of real artists like Timbaland is. And he is messing it up like for the next up and coming Timbaland. Like when Timbaland was on the come up. And if this technology existed, would Timbaland still have had the opportunity to become Timbaland? So maybe I'm giving him too much grace. Maybe it's just a simple, hey, they trying to profit off of it. I'm trying to profit off of it first and lead the way before the well gets sucked dry. That could be it. Maybe it's just selfish, and that's why he don't care, and that's why he's going to be pressing forward. I just hope that that's not the case, and he can understand like where he went wrong in this whole thing, because I do not agree with any of this. There is not a single thing about this whole AI stage zero Tata A-pop artist that I can look at and go, that is going to be the benefit to the world. AI already is killing the planet at a faster rate than even carbon, vehicles and greenhouse gases and stuff like that. So it's already bad for the environment as is, but for the music world, for the art world, for the creative world, for creative human expression, could be in danger. And we would have Timbaland to thank for that. But that's my thoughts. Let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments below. I got some ideas. I want to do like more live streams. I'm even thinking about doing reaction videos. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, so I figured I might as well turn on the camera and give my unfiltered thoughts on everything as it happens. But, let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments. But until next time, it's your boy Viddy Dangerous. This has been 1430. Much love.